your degree is probably kind of pointless. There, I said it. Get mad all you want in the comments. Obviously, that's a little bit of an inflammatory statement. I don't actually think that all degrees are totally pointless, but I do think that skills matter more currently to employers than degrees do. So I'm obviously not including like doctors and engineers and architects, those kinds of things that require high levels of education to be able to go into, not talking about those people. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about why skills matter so much more than a degree. Let me kick it off with my own personal experience. About 12, 13 years ago, back when I was in high school, I wanted to go into film. I didn't quite know how to go about doing that. I basically just dove headfirst into learning everything about video production, video editing, After Effects, learning visual effects, basically everything you can think of under the sun with video production and filmmaking. I went and learned it. And by the time I was about finished with high school, I was actually doing some work for clients, just making little videos here and there for different clients around town. That continued into my college years, doing more and more freelance, bigger and better projects. And by the time I got to university, I had a full portfolio. And I went and got my general eds first, pretty much finished those, and then went into digital cinema. That was going to be my program of choice. And I did one semester, found a job that offered me a great salary to go make videos for them. It wasn't just a one-off job. I got one job after the next. And that's led me to where I am now. I'm, relatively deep into my career. If I'm being real, I kind of want to ditch that career and leave it in the dust and do something else. That's a completely other story for another time. But I've been successful doing video stuff and animation without the college degree. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, of course that applies to you if you're doing something artistic, you're doing something creative, you've got a portfolio, you can physically show someone what you're capable of doing. That's a lot easier to get a job like that. Well, guess what? That's still the case with other jobs that aren't necessarily creative jobs. You could go into marketing and all you have to do is prove that you've had some experience there, that you've got some skill set that is useful to marketing, and bada bing, bada boom, you got a job. Obviously, it's not that simple. You need to go and get skills before you can go get a job. So it's not like you can just pop out of high school and go get this crazy awesome job. You got to do some work, obviously. But point being, school is not what they say it is. Your degree is not what they tell you your degree is. It's not worth as much as you think. Employers want people who have skills. They want people who know how to write. They want people who know how to use various different pieces of software. They want people that know how to code. There's a bunch of these different hard skills and some soft skills that they're looking for, and they don't necessarily care about the degree anymore. The unfortunate reality is that universities aren't giving students the skills that they need to succeed in the job field. Now, I don't totally blame them, but the reality is that they're behind. They can't possibly keep up with the rate that technology is advancing, and that was definitely true in my case. I had some professors that were basically super old school and hadn't done any real world video stuff in years, and basically I wasn't getting an education. I already knew significantly more than I was being taught at that point in time. Now, obviously, schools do teach some of these skills. School offers an opportunity to network, meet people, that kind of thing. It's an opportunity to do something difficult and prove yourself in that way. So it's not totally pointless, but the reality is that if you go and get a degree, you follow all the steps, you're not guaranteed a job. And in fact, that's a big problem right now, is that college graduates aren't able to get the jobs that they desire because they don't actually have any relevant skills to the jobs they're trying to apply for. And just so you guys know that I'm not out for higher education, I literally teach a class adjunct at a university right now, which is very ironic considering I don't have a degree, but I believe in higher education still. I think that there's still some value, and honestly, I think it's really great that the university that I'm teaching at is bringing in these adjunct teachers to fill gaps for classes that they can't teach or that they don't have enough resources to teach. It's also worth mentioning that most jobs that you're going to go and get that are white collar jobs, you're going to be learning on the job. There's going to be specific things to that company, specific softwares that maybe they do the same thing as some other software that you've learned. There's going to be their own specific processes. There's all these things that you're just going to have to learn on the job regardless. This isn't just my anecdotal experience. I've got some real stuff here to back this up. So as of several months ago at least, 12 states have decided to drop the requirement to have a degree for most of the government jobs. Crazy enough, before 2022, not a single state had done this. Maryland was the first. And then you got Utah, where I'm from, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Alaska, North Carolina, New Jersey, Virginia, Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Minnesota. Those are all states that have dropped the requirement to have a degree for most government jobs. Obviously, there's still some in there that you have to have a degree for. I don't know what those are per se, but obviously that makes sense that there's going to be certain requirements and certifications and degrees for very specific roles. Just scrolling through the Utah government job board, it's kind of crazy because a lot of these jobs are actually really high paying jobs. And yeah, some of them might have a preference to someone that has like a bachelor's or a master's degree, but they don't make that a requirement. They just say, hey, preferably you'd have this, but if you have the relevant experience, we'd still hire you. Literally 99% of Utah's government jobs do not require a degree. That's nuts. But the reason these states have done this is because they're having a hard time filling these positions that they need skilled workers for. And they're not finding them from colleges. They are having to leave out people who have relevant experience for the job because they don't have a degree. And so they changed that requirement, which I think is great. This quote from the governor of Utah encapsulates it. Instead of focusing on demonstrated competence, the focus too often has been on a piece of paper. We're changing that. That's amazing. Competency over a piece of paper. What a concept. Here's something else I found that should honestly alarm people who are going to college right now and getting degrees and who are going to start graduating. This is crazy to me, but the unemployment rate for recent graduates is higher than those who don't have a degree or just the general unemployment rate for everyone. Recent grad unemployment is about 4.4%, and everyone else is 3.6%. Yeah, that 3.6%, everyone else includes people who are working these low-level minimum wage jobs that don't pay very good, working at Starbucks or whatever. But guess what? So are these college grads. These college grads are also literally working at Starbucks. That's like the classic trope that you hear nowadays is the person with 3 degrees in English, literature, history. They're going and working at Starbucks because no one will hire them. Obviously, that's generally by and large not true, but this is the first time that, at least in the last 30 years, that the recent grad unemployment has gone up above the average unemployment rate. Usually, the recent grad unemployment rate is less because they're able to find jobs easier, or their at least prospects for jobs are better than those who don't have a degree. But that's flipped very recently. The market is demanding a certain type of person. They're demanding certain skills. There's all these gaps of knowledge. These companies need to hire coders and really knowledgeable individuals, but they're having a hard time doing so because there's not enough people out there. But meanwhile, there's all this competition for these low-level white-collar jobs, and these recent college graduates aren't able to get jobs. And you want to know why? Because they don't have relevant skills to the job. The universities aren't preparing them for these jobs. More proof that employers just want to hire people with skills, not degrees. This study right here that I found, it shows employers drastically dropping their degree requirements in all of these different fields. But you want to know what requirement has increased across the board with all of these? You can see right here, it's a bunch of soft skills. Look at that. All across the board, the soft skills are up in all of these different fields, and bachelor degree requirements are down. So this is all to say that things have totally shifted. It didn't used to be like this. It's not like I'm saying degrees have just been pointless forever or something like that. But by and large, they have become not worth it. I mean, the astronomical cost of a degree paired with the fact that you can't even go get a job that will pay off that debt. I mean, these people are locked in for debt for the rest of their lives, and they can't go get a job that they even want. They have to take some garbage job, and in some cases, they're literally taking jobs at Starbucks and stuff like that to pay the bills. It's crazy to me. The degree is not worth it. Skills are far more important. If you want to set yourself up for success, get some skills. What those skills are? Well, just go take a look at the job that you want to go get. What skills are listed there? I bet you could go get most of those skills on the internet. Just YouTube, Skillshare, LinkedIn Learning, whatever you want to, whichever resource you want to exploit there, you can go learn most of the skills that these jobs are requiring, and you're going to get paid more than a newly graduated bachelor degree holding individual. So I'm not saying you should go drop out of college or that college is totally pointless. I think that they need to make a major shift in how they are operating because it's clearly not working. It's clearly not preparing people for the actual world. I've got a whole list of gripes with college because I think that it could be a really great thing. And I think generally it still is, right? Like statistically speaking, you're still going to make more money over the lifetime of your career if you have a degree versus if you don't. So I just want to put that out there. But that's been a long-standing statistic that is probably going to change very soon, quite honestly. You know, I have a house. We've had some work done here before. I've gotten quotes on things like plumbing and stuff. Astronomical prices. It's unbelievable. I mean, plumbers get paid bank. They make so much money. And electricians and stuff, at least in my area, I mean, you don't need to go to college to get a good job. And I feel like people are being lied to saying, hey, you should go to college. You're going to be guaranteed an awesome job. And then you basically just, like I said, go through the steps, A, B, C, D. You get your degree. You have no skills to show for it. You've got skills that they taught you there that are like now irrelevant, or they're teaching you software that has now been outdated for years because technology is advancing so fast and they're trying to keep up, to their credit. But the fact of the matter is they're not. And you shouldn't have to suffer for that. So I think there's a real case to be made. Like, go learn some skills on your own. Go to a technical school. Do like an apprenticeship program or something like that. Try to weasel your way into a company at the ground level with no degree and just work your way up through the system like the old days. I honestly think that that's a better prospect for people right now than going to school and getting a degree and getting, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Obviously, those are extreme cases. It's not always that high, but you're still looking at, I think the average is like $25,000. That might be like hardcore lowballing the average student debt. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Just to reiterate, I'm passionate about education. I care about education and learning and gaining new skills and constantly like evolving and, you know, always be willing to learn the next new thing or whatever. I truly believe in that. Right. So it's not like I'm crapping on college or education or something like that. So I don't want it to sound like that. And, you know, hopefully I don't get fired from my adjunct teaching role by saying all of this. But the gist is like skills versus degree, skills win. All right. Hands down. That's basically my message. If you want more content like this, please subscribe. This is the first video. There's going to be many videos just talking about careers, talking about jobs, talking about life. That's basically what we're here to talk about. And I got a lot of good stuff coming. So please subscribe, like the video, comment. Let me know if you disagree, why you disagree, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.